As a network marketer, I hope you're not setting New Year's resolution. You haven't set New Year's resolution for this year. Well, I'm just joking, but I want to talk about New Year's resolutions and the truth about them in this video. And if we haven't met, my name is Edita. I'm from VIE Now. I'm a network marketer like you. I love network marketing, but I hate prospecting, and that's why I was struggling until I found a way to get my ideal prospects to come to me instead. Ever since, my business is growing, and I'm sharing that knowledge here at VIE Now. And I'm coming live all the way from freezing Ireland. The weather forecast is quite freezing, and we are expecting snow. It snowed a little, and they're saying there will be more snow, so I guess it's a good thing for the kids. It's kind of a, it doesn't snow very often in Ireland at all, once in a few years, so it's kind of fun. But anyway, it's cold. So it's the time of the year, I guess, also, to be talking about New Year's resolution and whether they work or not. And I actually have pretty interesting numbers about how New Year's resolutions work for people, and the numbers are kind of surprising in a way. Apparently, about 72% of all the people drop their New Year's resolution within 2 weeks. 2 weeks later, 72% of people have dropped their New Year's resolutions. And out of those who set New Year's resolutions, only 8% of them actually achieve them. That's kind of crazy. What does that tell us? Well, I think that tells us that kind of setting New Year's resolutions is a waste of time to start with, probably. But what's interesting is that what is the difference between those people who achieve the New Year's resolutions and those, the 92% of all the people who set New Year's resolutions don't? What is the difference? So the difference is that the 92% of people are dreamers, and the rest of people are doers. And it's all about having a completely different thinking. So dreamers just think about the reward. It's very easy to start dreaming about something, imagining something, and I think even neuroscience, based on some neuroscience studies, I think when we dream a lot, our brain gets signal as if it's already happening. So while having specific goals is a good thing, having dreams, it's not necessarily. Our brain reacts to our dreams as if it's already happening, and actually makes us not take action. But the 8% of people who achieve their New Year's resolutions, they are doers. And the big difference is that it's not just about setting the New Year's resolutions or specific goals. The main difference between these two groups of people is that the people who achieve them, the 8% who achieve the New Year's resolutions, know exactly what they need to do to achieve those goals. So it's one thing, when you have a dream or some abstract goal and you want something, but you kind of see the final result, but you don't know exactly how you're gonna get there. And the other thing is when you know what exactly you need to do every month, every week, every day, probably depends on on your goal. For example, if you want to be fit, first of all, how do you describe it? What is it to be fit? What's your definition of fit? That's one thing. And then what exactly are your monthly, weekly and daily goals? What do you need to do every single day in order to become fit? If you don't know what you need to do today, tomorrow, in terms of exercising, what exercises, how much of exercising, in terms of food and eating, what kind of food, what ratios, and so on and so on. If you haven't broken down, your goals into actionable and perceivable and measurable tasks, it's gonna be very, very difficult to achieve your goals and your New Year's resolution. So the first important thing is to have your goals defined in a more specific way. I want to be fit. What is it? What does it look like for you? Is it achievable? Can you tell if it's achievable if you don't even know what it is? And then you need to break it down into smaller, intermediate goals, and how and what exactly you need to do every single day. And then when you have that done, you probably need to work really hard on changing your habits, because the way you are now, whatever is going on in your life, and it's not necessarily being fit. It can be money goals, it can be personal development goals, it can be any other education, developing certain skills and so on goals. What you have now is based on your lifestyle until now and on your habits. So probably to make room for something new goals, you also need to develop new habits. We are creatures of habits, and I've read that about 40% of what we do every single day, we do it without thinking. We do it on autopilot, and that's what we need to figure out, how to change that. In terms of, if we want to have different results. You can't have different results by doing the same thing over and over. It's just common sense. So that's what needs to really happen. When you set your New Year's resolution, and it doesn't matter if you if you set your New Year's resolution 2 weeks ago, before New Year's Eve, or you are working on them now, if you are doing that, make sure that you will develop a strategy and a more specific plan how you're gonna get there, because it's very easy to also feel like a failure if, let's say, you have a New Year's resolution and a month later, 2 months later, if you stick to it, you don't see any significant results. It's very easy to feel like a failure. But if you actually know, you measure and know what is possible to achieve in a month or two, you can feel about it much better. If you compare your progress a month later to your final wanted result, it might be very difficult on you, and you feel that you might think that you're not getting anywhere. Whereas actually that, getting to your goal is incremental progress. It's progress, it's a journey, it's a process. When you develop habits and they become your second nature, actually everything can become quite enjoyable when it becomes natural to you. I'm not saying that, brushing your teeth is an enjoyable thing to do, but we don't think much about it. We just do it because we have to do it, because that's what we've been doing all the time, and it feels natural. Same way meditation can become natural, daily meditation or daily book reading or anything, and I know that by myself, when I have a break and I need to get back to my habits, start doing things, working on my business, it's always a little more difficult than it was, before I had a break. So in terms of achieving any goals, you need to work on developing those habits. So I don't know if you set or not New Year's resolutions. I have to say I never do, but I do have goals. I do set goals, but I also need to understand how I'm gonna get to those goals. And in terms of business, for the learning curve was so steep in the beginning. I was really struggling to set goals, so the main thing that helped me was the drive and actually taking action every day the best way I could. And at some point when I learned enough knowledge and skills that, then I became more equipped to set more specific goals, and, became easier, and because I know how to get to those things. So anyway, set more specific goals. They can't be vague in order for you to get anywhere, and break them down into doable tasks and mini goals for a month, and for every month and for every week, and what you're gonna do every day in order to move towards your goal. So I know it's not a very Friday kind of topic today in terms of how to achieve your goals, but anyway, it's things that we need to talk about anyway if we want to succeed in this business. So I hope this video was helpful, and thanks very much for watching. I hope I don't know why I'm enjoying the idea that it's Friday, even though all days feel kind of the same, especially during lockdown. Again, the kids are not going to school again, but we have what we have, and we will get through it. Anyway, I don't know, I just give myself a permission to relax a little bit more on weekends, and I think that's enough for now. So anyway, thanks very much for watching, and have a nice day today. Happy Friday and upcoming weekend, and I'll talk to you soon again. Bye now.